Welcome everybody to this moment live stream, and today we'll try to use Cursor to build a front end for Moment, and we're gonna first try to experience what I have built, and then I'm gonna try to build it live with Cursor, and if we have time, I'm also going to try to make some modifications to my existing project. So back to what Momen is. Momen is a no-code full-stack application builder. We aim to help non-technical founders to build their production-ready web apps, and very soon to be not just web app but also mobile apps without code. And what we want to let you build is something that you don't throw away as you scale. So we pay a lot of attention to scalability and cost effectiveness and all that. So let's first take a look at what I have built. I have deployed this to the public internet. So in this case, if you want to try it out, you can go to aitripplanner.zebra.app. Why did I chose Zebra? Well, it's just because it's free. This is actually, let's experience the entire thing. I'm gonna log out. This is the first screen, and imagine if I am a new user. So I'm gonna give myself a Jiangyao Kai O2. I'm not entirely sure if O2 is not taken. Okay, O2 is not taken. So I'm in here. I have a single credit available. I can buy credits. So this one says get 3 credits for $5 to plan your next adventures. Okay, so I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna plan a trip. This looks a bit odd. It looks kind of disgusting, but we will try to make this look not crazy later. So let's say we're going to, I don't know, San Francisco, and we are going to be here tomorrow, and we're going to be here for 3 days, $4,200. That would take us 1 credit. While this is running, we can take a look at what's actually happening behind the scenes. So what we're using is this epic demo project. In our epic demo, we have this trip planner agent, and if we go to its data, we should see this one that's in progress, and that is running on account 12. And account 12, we'll see later, is Jiangyao 02. So this thing is running a bunch of tools. We can take a look at what tools it ran. It looked at where San Francisco is, and then try to run some things, looking up restaurants and failing. And after that, it's corrected its ways, and now it got restaurants, and this one is getting tourist attractions, and this one's getting hotels. And what else? It's looking up more things, more restaurants, more parks, Chinese restaurant. All right, all right. And tourist attraction, bookstore. So this thing should be mostly done. Yep, tool call, so that should be done. And if we look at here, it's somewhat odd. I don't know what really went wrong, but we can take a look. Oh, hi. How do I pronounce your name? Himnishi Baigai. Welcome. By the way, if you feel that you have questions to ask, just ask away. I'll try to get to them. And if you find this thing interesting and you want to stay in touch, subscribe, like, do the shebang, that's the usual YouTube shebang. Okay, so we generated this San Francisco thing. It has culture, icons. What's Momen? Momen is a no-code full-stack application development platform. We'll get to in a second. So it's now taken us to like 39. We can take a look at where that is. It has organized that some. Yeah, this is clearly not correct. It's probably in a wrong time zone, so we have to fix this. It's not like lovable. In fact, it's not like lovable at all. So that's the first day, and this is the second day. We have some issues with the time zone here, clearly. And yeah, so that is what we have. And let's take a look at how this thing is built. Essentially, we got a front end which has nothing. To the friend asking whether it is lovable, it is not. Well, lovable doesn't really let you create new pages directly. There is no direct control over your creation. So if I put something here and I just show up the trips, and if I just put in, this is not necessary, by the way. We're just trying it for trying its sake. Do a title. Don't know what the hell is gonna happen. Let's take a look. Yeah, that's the one. Something's up happening here. Obviously, this looks really shit because I didn't change anything, right? So what if I made this, something like 100%, and we make it not take this weird hue. Rid of that. And maybe we also have some kind of image on this, and we turn this from left to right, spread it out. Actually, I want to space them out. And for this one, we'll take 100% of this entire thing. And maybe we'll just show the cover image. So what is this going to show up here? So the cover image is now showing up. That's basically it. Obviously, we don't know where these things are separated. So let's get a shadow of some sort. Maybe 2. And maybe that's going to help us. Whoops, that's the wrong place to place a shadow. I wanted to place a shadow on the cell. We'll do a shadow of that. Yeah, so that kind of separates away. I mean, this still looks ugly, right? It looks ugly as hell. But that's just, it's like Flutterflow, yes, except it's full stack. So Flutterflow is really like focused on the front end. So back to the main topic of today. How do we use this thing with Cursor, right? So we're going to use Cursor to generate a front end for Moments project. In here, you can see the database. The core table here is trip. So these are the things that we generate by the AI. The trip has a start date and all that stuff. And it has each trip has multiple itineraries, days. So that's for each day. And then within each day, you get multiple activities. So it's 1 to n relationship, 1 to many. And you also have multiple meals. You should only have one accommodation, but for some reason, this is now 1 to many. That was because, wow, I used AI to create it, and then AI wasn't very smart at figuring that out. You guys should need to work on posting on all platforms. Well, make some suggestion. Which platform should we post it on? So the other important part of this is the paywall. So the paywall is centered around the order, and you can make payments. In fact, we have connected to Stripe. This one is connected to my Sandbox account, and therefore you can, you can actually go back. And if now I'm running out of credits, so if I try to go somewhere else, go to Tokyo, and let's see. So now it prompts me to pay. And then if I pay for it, I'm just going to use 4242. 4242 is the default Visa successful card for the Stripe Sandbox. And I've now paid for it. And I'm now going to generate. Now I'm able to generate the second one. And we don't have to wait around for it. It's just going to be there. Cool. So And that is all controlled by our payment system. So how did the generation of the trip happen, right? So we have this action flow on the back end that takes the budget, the start date, the destination, and duration days, and it would get your current user's account, trigger the planning, and uh, using the agent. And once the agent is done, we're going to create the trip using all the outputs of the agent. So that is where we get the output. So that's where we get the trip title. And then we loop over the days, put the days into the database, and we loop over the activities for each day, and we put that into the database. And eventually we would put where we go for lunch and dinner into the DB, and eventually just deduct your credit by one. Okay, that's the entire thing. Obviously, the question becomes, what the hell is in this plan, right? The plan is on trip planner structured output, and that's where it's constructed. So it takes the arguments. It takes a bunch of it would substitute these arguments into the prompt template during runtime, and we have APIs here that's imported manually. Currently we don't have any way for us to help you importing it, but you have to like manually import this whole thing. You can add it and then just manually import. We got one for geocoding. It tells you where what the coordinates are for a particular place, and then nearby search is also Google Places API. It will let you know what is near that particular coordinate, and you can select different types of points of interest, and you can select which fields you want. Do live at 4 to 5. Yeah, I'll try to do that. I mean, I don't really have a particular. And why do you think 4 to 5 is a better time? Because people are eating now? Okay, so this AI here would then proactively decide um, whether to invoke these APIs in order to figure out what to do in those locations. So imagine if I'm going to San Diego for 4 days, and we're going to just run it and see what it does. And to the left, we also can configure the output. The reason we want the output to be a structured format rather than a plain text is because with plain text, you can't really do much other than to display it. With a structured format, now you can have it stored in the database. You can have it hooked up on the front end. It will show things in a nice fashion like this. Oh, why is it not showing things? Yeah, that is so stupid. You know what this says? This says the early springs great like flus. It's almost like great flu in Tokyo. I don't know what the hell Gemini is thinking, but okay, great flu. So that's the reason we're able to display this in a more consumable fashion is because the output itself was structured. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Okay, so now let's take a look at what the hell is going on here. The AI tries to find different parts of San Diego, the location of different parts of San Diego, and then it tries to look at uh, hotels and hostels in a particular location, but it has failed because it has not put in the required things. And then it fixed itself, looked into different things, and eventually came up with this result. And that is why the AI is working. In addition to this agent, we also have two other agents. We want to generate the cover images for the trip as well for the day. So this one generates it for the trip, and all we did was just generate a trip image, cover image for the trip with a description. And the other one is very similar, except it has a theme and then the total number of days as well as geographic focus, which is accessible in the output of the first AI. Now, how does these get run? Well, we have these action flows that's running on the backend, and we basically trigger them whenever trip is inserted. And we do the same thing to insert when trip is when a day is inserted into the trip, we generate the cover image for the day. And then we have miscellaneous stuff like apply a default credit for the account whenever account is created. That's why we have a single credit when it was created. I think this is 1 or 2. 1, yeah. And we also have one to create an order so we can make payments. So that's basically it. And then let's just try this thing out. Why do I have these two things? Okay, I'm just gonna move them to the trash. And do I have? I'm gonna close other chats. Okay. Okay. So in order for Cursor to communicate with Moments backend and then build a front end for it, we need the Moment Cursor rules. So these are the rules. I have pre-downloaded it here. And we have a README, so you can read through it. It basically talks about how to use our cursor rules. And we also have a MCP server somewhere. We have an MCP server, and I'm gonna close this one down and close this one down so it doesn't get confused. When AIs have too many tools to use, when it goes beyond 30, it starts losing precision. Right? Its performance will degrade if you have too many tools. So the one that's relevant to us is Momen, and we can actually turn this off. So I'm just going to turn this one off. And today I'm not going to use Chrome DevTools automatically via AI. I'm just going to be debugging myself because Cursor will make some mistakes. Right. So the configuration for the Moment MCP server is fairly simple. That's all you need to put in. And that's also in here. So if you want documentation, that's where you can find it. So very simply, we're going to be saying like build an AI trip planner using Moment backend. Project ID is blah. Why do I have to say this? Because otherwise, Cursor doesn't know which Moment project we're working with. Each one will have its own backend structure, including but not limited to database schemas, to workflows, to AI agents, and payments stuff. And some things like use username for login, make the UI look modern and nice. What else? There is you can purchase credits at $5 per 3 credits. The Stripe publishable key is reason we need to put it in here is in order for you to initiate a payment on the front end, you need to pass this thing around. We don't yet expose this on our backend schema. So if we did, you no longer have to type it. So how do we find that? Well, we have it here. I'm just going to use Stripe public key. Is this guy. Anything else? We'll see what it does. Oh, actually, we're going to say something about like what to use. Use React and Vite. Create the project in the current directory. All right, let's take a look. So you can see the prompt is not very complex. It's fairly minimal. Okay, now I need to log in to Moment. Um, so that should be it. Now it's gotten, okay, cool. So agent tools, okay, whatever it likes. It tries to look at our backend structure. Let's see what it has. Read to output. Yeah. So it's initiated some stuff. Let's make this smaller. Actually, let's make this slightly bigger. Probably easier to see this way. Okay, it started reading the output of the Moment's backend structure. Let's take a look at what's in here. You can see AI has failed to remove the actual directory, but that is a very common AI. Success, okay. Oh, it's still not able to get out of the temp app directory. Oh well. I think I should help it by first stopping it, and then we'll move everything out so it doesn't get too confused. We'll move everything out, replace, and this, no. And inside here, I'm just gonna delete it. Okay, I'll say like continue. It's still trying to check the output of the tool. Am I in Max? No, I'm not in Max. I am in Max, sorry. And you can see these active rules in here. We have common and moment backend architecture and moment publicity rules. So those are in there. It's still reading a bunch of stuff. And now it has figured out it needs to run an action flow on the backend in order to create the trip. So it's now reading the rules for interacting with the action flows. This is writing the code to interact to log in. Basically, that's all you're seeing. It's trying to log in. This whole thing should last around, I would say, 5 minutes usually, but we'll see. It's now trying to like read the profile, the actual account, and this one here is trying to get the trip. I'm now integrating blah 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 blah. Moment publicity rules, okay. I don't know how beautiful this will be though, even though we asked it to make it beautiful, but you never know. Meanwhile, we can take a look at what these rules actually contain. So while it's still running it, so the main thing is going to be the backend architecture. I wrote this by hand. And you can see always applies true. So whenever you're interacting with Moment, backend architecture is always used, because otherwise you don't even understand what the hell is Moment, right? So here is a background. Moment is a full stack no code development platform. And the core architecture contains the database, which we saw, the action flows, which we saw, the third-party APIs, that those were the two Google APIs we imported, the AI agents, which we saw, and then in order to interact with them, you have to use a specific protocol called GraphQL. And GraphQL is fairly common, fairly popular, so no further explanation needs to go into the AI to figure out how to write proper GraphQL. And then we have some like reference implementation for constructing a Apollo client, which is like one of the most common libraries people use to communicate over GraphQL. And then we explain like how to do authentication, how to interact with the API, um, how to what are the valid types, how do you do backend structure discovery? Well, you can see here we said just use MCP server for that. And for database, we are going to have to include a different rule because that's actually gigantic. It's things like 1,500 lines of rules. And for the API, how to do API, how to do action flow, they all have their individual rules. And eventually, like how to do subscription, we support live queries. So that's something that you also need to know, and how to handle like binary data, uploading images and all that, and how to deal with permissions. So that's basically it. And these will just then point AI to look up other rules. But let's take a look. How far is this thing now? You will notice that I've chosen Gemini 3 Pro. That's because I ran out of cursor credits. So I'm just using my own token. Otherwise, Claude 4.5 Sonnet is usually a better choice. It's less verbose and sometimes even more accurate. Like with Gemini, it sometimes goes a bit crazy. Okay, so it has written a bunch of stuff. Now, hopefully, we can run it. nv npm I npm run dev. Okay, let's take a look. I will be okay. Failed to import some things. Okay, I'm just gonna type this entire thing in here. Clearly, there's something wrong that the libauth. What the hell is libauth? Anyways, it's, now it's just cycle of trying to fix the broken stuff that AI has generated. By the way, as we're waiting, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. It could be moment related, it could be cursor related, AI related, whatever. Sort the missing, sort of which cause the import error should compile now. Okay. Post CSS. Okay, so now another common problem with Gemini is that it has trouble with post CSS. So look up the internet to determine the correct way to integrate Tailwind CSS with the newest version of Vite. It's like one of the most common issues I run into whenever Gemini is trying to use newest Vite. It will use like the old way of integrating Tailwind, and Tailwind CSS is the one that is responsible for, in a simplified way, making things look nice. So this, yeah, this is actually correct. V4 uses a plugin. Yeah, it's now going to use the correct plugin. Okay, I think that's gonna be correct. This one for at one time, this one actually costed me um like 2 hours of time. I'm not a front end guy, so I have no idea what the hell was going wrong. It was just not running, and eventually I found a friend, well, a colleague to help me out, and he's a front end. He found out that the correct way of integrating it is actually running a newly produced plugin. So that is now in npmi. So that should install. Okay, so we're gonna try it. Tailwind CSS, that should be in already, right? Let's take a look. Yeah, this is in. Yep. Okay, so that's in. Gonna rerun this. Anything? Okay, now Vite has other issues, so whenever you run into this, just paste it in. This is actually a Vite issue. It has to like reinstall stuff. Ah, it's using the wrong Apollo client. Yeah. Okay, so once this is installed, this should start running. Come on. And looking at token consumption, we're already at 100,000 tokens. So that's not to say we have consumed 100,000 tokens. That's every single conversation is now taking 100,000 tokens. Okay, it's trying to reinstall everything. So let's, and also removing all the Vite caches. By the time you get to 100,000 tokens, the context window reaches 100,000, you will start seeing things like where are we? I can't find it, but like Chrome, sorry, Gemini will start go crazy and trying to edit things that don't exist. Okay, refresh. Hold on. Reloading. Okay, so that's a different error. Really, it shouldn't be normalized cache object, but well. This is your typical experience debugging with AI. Let me take a look. Does it work? Use mutation. Okay, further issues. Huh. Really? Okay. I'm going to And type.ts. Okay, so let's see what they actually have in here. Count. It does have a count. Export name account. Dashboard. Where's my dashboard? Pages. Dashboard. Count. Okay. This doesn't even build, so we're just gonna add try to build and debug. Oh, okay. Isn't this supposed to be broken? Let's see. Let's wait for it. Well, we won't wait for it for too long, so we'll just try to sign up. Actually, we just log into our old account first. Right, we have just registered Jungle 2, and we're just gonna log in. Those were the things that we generated previously. And what did I just do? Did I just log out? Okay. Yeah, I just clicked sign out. Okay, I have the credits. I'm gonna plan a new trip. This looks reasonable. We're going to go to, I don't know. Does anyone want to suggest a place? If not, it'll be New York. Okay, New York it is then. New York. And we'll just say some random arbitrary dates. 3 days for $1,000. Probably enough, probably not. And that is now broken. We'll click on this. Execute pipe is not a function. So actually it's running. It's actually running. But this is showing an error. Why do I know it's running? Because, well, the response says it's running, and you can tell that it is running. In here, you can see 2 of them actually running simultaneously. So that's bad. It's gonna use up all my credits. Sorry, yes, it's gonna use up all my credits. And error shows up when I click generate trip. My guess is that something is broken in here. But anyways, give it a little bit of time. It should appear here. We should have 2 trips to New York. Let's see. It's still not done yet. So one of them's completed. So now if we refresh, yeah, we actually have now 2 trips to New York, and we are running out of credits very soon. If we do that, we don't actually have. Oh, yeah, this is another stupid thing. Uh-oh. This guy is now changing stuff, so we can't even load. Let's wait for it. Failed. I think it's because the server's running, so it was unable to remove stuff. Timeout. Do I actually have something? No, nothing's running, so it should be good. Okay, does this run now? No, it's not running because obviously I'm not running it. So I'm running it. Fresh. Yeah, that's Vite always have this problem. It's gonna. I will have to clear that. So we clear Vite caches. Okay. That should be done now. Okay, so let's restart. Nope, that's still there. Okay, nothing. And what else is there? Do we have snow beat? Run dev. Okay. Oh, come on. It's getting so messed up with these dependencies. Follow client. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll delete the entire node modules thing and npmi. Just reinstall everything. Okay, now run it. Okay, now it's back. Something wrong with the cache. It's gone crazy. So we have the New York City. Let's take a look. We also have no credits left as expected because we generated 2 in one go. And if we fail to load trip details, okay, so that's normal. If we go to here, we have a response. That's wrong. So this one should be fixed. What was it? Selection not allowed. Selection not allowed on geography. Okay, yeah. Because geography is a scalar type, so it just contains. Okay, here we go. It's fixed. Accommodation is nothing, really? Rockefeller Center. Second day has an accommodation. The first day has no accommodation, really? Let's take a look. First day accommodation is empty. Oh. Okay. I guess that's fair. No accommodation for the first day. And that's the Midtown Hustle, History and Heritage. It looks pretty nice, right? Okay, so now we have some time, and because at the moment we can't. Well, actually, let's test one more thing. We're gonna buy credits. Fail to initiate payment. Yes, exactly. Ah, use the action flow to create order. It's ignoring my instruction to use an action flow to create the order. It's trying to create an order directly, and that's not supported. We turn it off in the permission settings so that users can't just determine their own amount. Right? I'll be stupid if you let user determine how much they want to pay you. So while this is working, okay, it's doing something. Create order. Yeah, this is wrong. You can't use this. Yeah, this is correct. And ta-da! Okay, so that works. So we're gonna do the 4242. Those are the, as I said, the sandbox Visa numbers. We do a payment, pay successfully. I'm not gonna buy more. Okay, good. So now we have, and I don't know why I have a stripe over here, and it doesn't let me go back. So that's kind of dumb, but whatever. So as I said, it would be nice if we can have a place to put references, preferences, right? Because what if I want everything to be kids friendly, right? So let's do that. First of all, we need to change that in the actual AI agent. So in here, I'm say preferences, and it's just going to be text and users preferences. And we can just reference that preferences. Okay. And if you want to be fancy, you could also say like if it is empty, then you put in something like nothing, right? Just say nothing. Okay, users preferences, but we're not going to be so careful about it. In here, we're going to add another input as well. So preferences text. This guy now takes the preferences. Okay, and that's mostly done. Obviously, we need to let cursor know there's a new input. So let's just say exactly that. Oh yeah, that is very much cursor getting completely stuck. We'll just stop it. It's gone crazy. Keep all. So I have added preferences as a new input to the action flow. I'm not going to say which one. Refresh schema and update UI. We're at 200,000. So at this point, the model's performance is going to degrade pretty bad. We did run into multiple rounds of debugging, and that's what consumes the context window. So this refreshed it, and it read the entire thing. This is, by the way, if you care to check, this is a new, it is the output of the tool call. That's what Moment sends to Cursor. So we have some preferences over here. And I think that is now, yeah, preferences. Fantastic. So in this case, San Diego, and we are going to go there on the 28th. That's actually my friend. He's taking his son to San Diego. I'm going to allot him $1,200, and I'll be very, very forceful. Every activity should be kids friendly. A bunch of exclamation marks. Okay, generate a trip. Okay, we have a issue over here. That's what we previously we just ignored it because you can actually generate this. This is AI not paying attention to the names of the type, the name, the types. So it's like it's unfortunate, but it should be fairly easy too. Okay, so that should be done. Good. It's now running. And if we look at our system, we do have a thing that's in progress. Oh. Damn it, I just ran two of them again. But anyway, such is life. We're gonna end up with 2 trips to San Diego now. That's very unfortunate. and we're going to consume precious tokens. I mean credits in this case. And the other thing is, why this thing says Stripe? Uh, I've no idea why this thing says Stripe here. It should say like powered by Moment, but this is not the first time I see Stripe here. I'm gonna check my uh, check the code that Cursor's generated and see why this thing says Stripe. This is very odd. We're not gonna navigate away. We will check whether this thing is done. Right, the first one is now done. Oh, the second one is done now. It should now go away. Does it? Does it? Does it? One of the issues with debugging with like these live queries. Okay, yeah, here we go. Yeah, so family friendly adventure in San Diego, and it's very Asian too, so that works. And now we have two little capsules here. Oh my god. I want to get rid of this. What the hell is it? What the hell is this? You could tell it to just get rid of the stripe capsule. It's an SVG. What? Who even? What? Okay, I'm very confused. Get rid of the stripe capsule on the bottom right of the screen. And if you want to make it slightly more obvious to the agent, you can always just take a screenshot, paste it in, and that should get rid of it. Once that's done, then we will have something that also takes a user's preference. In fact, there are other things you can do. For example, you can persist the conversation ID into the trip and later continue to modify your you can continue to modify your trip. So that'll be something that's pretty nice. It's probably doing the wrong thing now. But let's check out whether these things are actually family friendly. We got the zoo, you got science, and obviously, as you probably noticed, I forgot to fix the time zones. So while this thing is running, powered by, so it got rid of my it got rid of my powered by moment, but it left the stripe thing on. So there's a limits to what AIs can do. Let's try to fix the time zone issue first. Let me take a look at the output of the AI to make sure that the time zone is actually correct. This is the output of the AI, and we're gonna do start. That is why. So I'm gonna tell it time zone. I'm gonna give it a default. So it's -8. -8 is me. So that's Pacific time. And starting at 10, ending at that. And I think the output is going to be, let's take a look. and network. And if we just refresh this page, the output is Z. Okay, so it is Zulu time. This is actually in Greenwich time. So let's say all time zones must be determined by well, let's just fix, like, do some stupid fixes now. Must be, no, let's do something proper. I am going to output the desired time zone in the AI. Right, so we're gonna be in here. We'll give it another cell. So the entire trip, maybe the entire day. Yeah, we'll do that on a day basis. Collapse, 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 collapse. Okay, we'll say time zone. Okay, I will make that required. And then inside here, for each day, we're gonna add a time zone. That's also gonna be text. And then inside action flow, we will, in here, in the insert day, add in the time zone. Day loop. Oh, I need to deploy first. Action flow, day loop, I did time zone, time zone. That is very odd. Do I have days? Okay, let me make sure I'm not getting this wrong. The activity goes down, 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 down. Let me just try it over here. Duplicate field name, okay. What if we put it in here? Make it required. It could be a bug. Insert day. We have the time zone coming from the days loop. And no, we do have a time zone. I have to reopen the configuration tab. That's bad, but that's what I have now. So get rid of this. I'll get rid of this. Okay, so that gives the time zone, and yeah, so that should be done. And on time zones for start and times should be determined by a newly added field in itinerary days called time zone. Refresh schema. It would be nice if the updates to the schema can be streamed over to the large language model. They do have support for some things like that, except, let's say, the support is fairly poor. And why don't I have accommodation for the first day? Let's see. Do I have accommodation for the first day? That's lunch, dinner, activities. The first day it did not give me accommodation. That is very bad. Why? Did I? Oh, I remember. I never set the accommodation to be required because for short trips, you don't need accommodation. Yeah, that's not required. So, well, backfired, I would say. Time zone, yes. So that is cool. And the trip, yeah, format time, time strings, time zone. Time string. Format time, where is it coming from? This is clearly not doing the right thing. Actually, use the time zone to adjust the displayed time. And the other thing it should have deduced is that the time that's actually I'll help it because it doesn't really know the output of the example of time. Does it work? No, that's clearly wrong. Okay. Does this thing have a time? Well, this thing does not have a time zone because we did not generate one with the time zone. We're going to regenerate it. So San Diego. And once we're done with this, we'll call it quits for today's. Oh, come on. Are you crazy? Task ID. Okay, I'm just gonna do it myself. Yes, task. This one is a long. Damn it. Okay, it started though, so nothing much we can do. So let's wait for this thing to finish. And we should have. Let's wait for this run to finish. Yeah, it's still in progress. And this time it should output a time zone, and we're going to use a time zone to display the time. And unfortunately, all the old ones don't have time zones applied. So refresh 7. This one is done. We should have it. Refresh here. Yep. Okay. Yes, this is now a lot better. We don't yet have all the. Yeah, okay. So much better. much better. So the times are now correct. We have the time zones, and then the times are now showing up in the correct way. The duration is missing. I don't know why, but the duration is missing. But we're out of time, and also my little weird powered by Stripe thing is now gone for I don't know what reason. I guess I won't complain. And there is a look at this. There is a little UI bug. But all right. If you guys find this interesting, feel free to subscribe and check back on us. We should have some pretty cool updates soon, and also I will be building an AI co-pilot improvement from time to time. It won't be like moment specific in the sense that it won't talk about how moment works. It's mostly like how to do agentic RAG and how to do pre-processing of your data so you can have a agent that performs well. And that would be it for all. Thank you very much for coming, and good night for most people.